Let's take a moment to look at who has responsibility for revenue as your company scales. This is important because we're going to look at individual job descriptions for different types of role, and it's going to be essential for you to ensure you've got the right person in the right seat at the right time. Back at 3 million ARR, Series A, as a founder, you're the person that has responsibility for end-to-end revenue. You might well have hired back then a sales director, but they're probably in a player manager role, and it's really still the founder who's responsible for what money is coming through the door. Now at Series B, you'll have a VP of sales, or have hired one in or about to hire one in. And this person, you might think, is now responsible for revenue. But ultimately, they're still focused on sales. This person has not got deep operational experience of marketing or customer success. So it's really still you as the founder that has that end-to-end experience. It's only at around 30 million ARR and Series C when you're going to bring in a true chief revenue officer who has this operational experience and expertise and leadership of the end-to-end revenue function, with marketing, if not reporting into the CRO, then at least with a dotted line, and then with customer success as well, also under their responsibility. So what's the difference between a VP of sales and a CRO? Well, a VP of sales, we call her Sally, Sales VP. When you hire her in, probably come back from a larger organization where they had a sales leadership role. They probably had built out a single sales team there. And this is now going to be a stretch role. They've come back and they're now going to have their first opportunity of building out 3 or 4 teams underneath them. They won't have any direct operational experience of marketing or customer success. They've worked alongside them, but they've not sat in those roles and run those jobs. They probably think that revenue operations is just a rebrand of sales operations. A team that is going to help them to build out their forecast, a team that is going to help them build their compensation model, a team that can help them to iterate how their Salesforce or HubSpot is implemented. They're not necessarily thinking of the end-to-end buyer journey through marketing, sales, and customer success. And to that extent, they're probably very happy if marketing build out their own marketing operations, because it's not just about demand gen, it's also about field marketing, it's about the events, it's about the brand, and they're not really too au fait with that. They're probably also happy for customer success to build out customer ops. They're not too familiar with the systems and the processes and the metrics that team might use. And they want to concentrate really on what's in front of them, because they are worried about their monthly bookings and revenue number. That's what they're focused on, and it's what they lie awake at night worrying about, thinking about job security. Am I going to have a job in a quarter, in half a year, if we can't continue to meet these numbers? She probably needs to start thinking about opening up a first sales team in a new country, which might be a new role and a new challenge. And really what she wants is a partner, someone to peer with, someone that can help her as she scales out this team. Now let's look at how that differs from the role of a chief revenue officer, and let's call him Cyril, CRO. Once again, Cyril has been hired in from a much larger organization where he's probably had a wider responsibility before. Could have been an SVP of sales, someone that had scaled up to multiple teams, and this is likely the first CRO role that they've had. As part of their previous work, they may have had some previous marketing or customer success experience. They're able to bring some of that knowledge to the table. And because of that, they're focused on hiring the right leadership into each of those functions. They understand that their job is about leading leaders and less about managing individual teams. They're starting to think about integrating new acquisitions and how they're going to integrate that structure into the existing organization. They're worried about opening up in new markets as you as the founder start providing them with targets around the percentage of international revenue. They're needing to think about selling to new sets of customers in new sets of ways. That might be launching a PLG motion if you don't have one already. It might be about building out alliances with different types of partners to accelerate different business models. You might be rolling out new organic products or through acquisition and having to think about how you're going to sell these new products. Are you going to structure it with specialist co-prime teams? Are you going to have a core? Are you going to sell through partners? The CRO is resolutely focused on metrics. This is an executive role. It is focused on building the machine rather than being in front of the customers. And as you as a founder have increasing focus on profitable growth, on efficient growth, the CRO is being challenged by you to continually reduce that cost of the go-to-market function to ensure that the productivity per FTE continues to go up as the company scales. Now, these two roles, the CRO and the sales VP, are two completely different roles. And I spend time talking about this because you might call your sales VP a CRO because it helps you potentially to attract a different type of candidate. But it is important to understand that this is a completely different role. And if you've got a sales VP today and you're thinking that your sales VP is going to grow into the role of CRO as you reach 30 million R, then I'd challenge you to think about that. It's a very different role and you're going to require very different people that are going to be in that role. Now, in the next section, we'll move on to talking about revenue operations in this new phase of your business and some of the requirements that you'll need as you continue to expand and scale out your in-house revenue operations team.